Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to have a deep conversation about some of the struggles that we've endured in our lifetime and open up about men's mental health, because the first question I want to kick off about is, why is it important to talk about mental health, especially in men? Joe?
Oh, because if I don't talk about it, I've got to think about it. So and I've learned that I'm thinking about stuff anyway. So it's easier for me at this point to talk about how I'm feeling. Because if I don't, it's going to stay inside me anyway.
Right.
And things rarely get better when they're in me for a while.
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
No.
It's probably a better way of saying it, but you know what I mean.
No, I totally get what you mean. And I want to just quickly add on to that.
Yeah.
What does it do to hold it inside?
Oh, well, it gets worse always, because I'm constantly asking myself questions that I can't answer because I ask the question. So I think that if you keep anything like that in, doesn't help. And just little things as well. Again, we were saying this just now. We're oversharers, so like,
massively.
It's a journey to live as an oversharer, to sort of get to a point where you're undersharing.
Yeah.
But it does help to get it out of you. I'd rather overshare for a while than keep stuff in forever.
Absolutely.
And my life has been infinitely better ever since I started talking about how I'm feeling.
Yeah, good on you, mate. And it takes a lot of power to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
Because we've got a tendency of oversharing, but not getting to the point of what we're trying to say.
Absolutely.
Would you say that's right?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. We waffle.
Oh, yeah. But I think the reason why we waffle is so that we can get. It doesn't matter how long it takes. So I'd rather waffle and get to the point at some point than waffle and not get to the point, because then I've waffled for no reason.
Yeah, that's a lot of waffling.
Yeah, it's a lot of waffling, exactly. I just waffled whilst doing that. But it's like, just to answer your question as well, I think why it's so important to talk for me is to do the groundwork with regards to preventative measures. Sometimes I'll talk, to family members, or certainly people that are really close to, that I confide in. When I even feel like a slight tinge of entering a familiar territory that I don't necessarily want to go towards, and sometimes I could probably, deal with a lot of it on my own, but I'd rather not, because why would I if I've got support there?
No, absolutely.
I think it's more important to do it together, and quite often, when they say two brains are better than one, quite often I'll talk, to my loved ones, or to people that I trust and confide in, and that, and they'll figure something out about me that because from an audience's perspective, they're looking at something from a different angle, right? They'll notice something that I haven't necessarily noticed myself, and even if it's just like how my face sits, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people message me. So I'm going to go into oversharing.
No, go on.
No, sometimes people message me and they say, "I really wanted to come say hello to you, but you look really angry." And it's just sometimes my face settles in it's like that resting bitch face, right? Sometimes it settles in a way where it seems like I want to, get into a fight with you or something. But it's not. It's just because I'm tense. I'm a tense person.
Yeah.
And I just feel quite tense, And
it's funny you say that, Danny. Yeah. I've had that. People say you come across as quite intimidating until we speak to you and we realise you're a lovely lad.
Yeah.
But I actually want to touch up on that a little bit because the face and the eyes don't lie. No. We know this. So when we are at our worst, one of the telltale signs my wife will say to me is my eyes go dark and I'm not there.
Right.
Do you know what yours are that stick out for people? Have you been told, hey, look, we know you're not okay because this is happening?
Yeah, I think that, it varies. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you do only understand that from the feedback.
Yes.
Because, I'll never meet me.
No.
So I don't know what I look like and how I am. I'm aware I don't do it so much anymore, but in the past, it was actually the opposite. If I was seeming really fine, then it was a worry.
So you were masking?
I was massively, yeah. And all of my energy went into appearing fine.
Yes.
So I think that there weren't very many people in the world that understood that, but there were a couple.
Yeah.
And I ignored them when they brought it up.
Yeah.
But I think nowadays, it's my fidgeting, certainly. How I am, the worse I am in my head, the more I start getting about like that. And I can never feel it. I can't feel being still, and I can't feel moving around like I've got a problem.
Yeah.
But it's very obvious. And my shoulders, I go like that. And
yes.
I'm a physical nightmare. Anybody that says mental health problems aren't physical is insane.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because that's a physical problem. I have back issues because of how that comes out of me.
I have jaw tightness.
Yeah, right.
Really, really tight jaw, yeah.
And it's so easy, again, to say about talking about stuff, but it is. That stuff gets worse when I don't say how I'm feeling.
Yes.
And which is why, again, very easy thing to say, harder to do. Talking to people is the most important thing to do.
Absolutely. Well, as we've said, holding it in obviously creates more problems in our mind. We overthink. I want to put this out to you as well. Do any of you two suffer in a way of you'll take a small bit of information and you could fabricate that to anything worse? I'm terrible at this, honestly, and I will take a small bit of information and it comes up to this story that's completely not real, but in my mind, I'm living it.
Yeah.
Would any of you like to share about that?
Yeah, I think that might be because we're empaths, mate. So it's a blessing and a curse being an empath, you know, because you can instantly walk into a room and no matter how many people there, you get an overwhelming sense of how every one of them are feeling, you know, and that's to do with body language and all sorts. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong in terms of thinking that the person is upset. But what is hard to differentiate as to whether they're upset with you or they're upset with themselves or they're upset with something else, which is 9 times out of 10 the case. But where you know, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. We're quite sensitive to that.
Yes.
Because obviously we feel a lot of things and the fidgeting and, you know, stimming and regulating ourselves to try and make sure that, you know, it's like you say, it's a physical constant battle to try and make sure that we just kind of at least mask and come across as normal, right? We're oversensitive to other individuals who may be going through something, and you know, we immediately feel like, you know, we've either done something wrong or we either want to help, and you know, and just like Joe this morning, you know, messaged me just saying, Dan, really wanted to kind of, you know, check in on and see if, you know, basically, I know that you're accustomed to forgetting things, but just wanted to politely remind you that we have a podcast today. You do remember that, you know, because I'm time blind completely.
Yes.
And it's difficult because you say you got ADHD as well. I think all 3 of us have.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because personally, like, there's a fine line between being honest with someone and being like, Dan, I know you got ADHD and I know you might forget, so I just want to let you know.
Yeah.
And Dan, you always forget, so I want to let you know. There's a difference between being gently navigated into the right direction and being criticised, right?
Yes.
Because we're critical thinkers, we're also very sensitive to being critiqued as well. And that's why I said to Joe, I said, mate, if I had people like you around me all the time, I'd live my best life, because he already knows how to handle. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Well, not necessarily handle, but just
handle.
you know.
You know when they say check in on your friend.
Yeah.
You read that and you think, oh, like you've got to check in and be like, are you okay? You still sad?
Yeah.
Nah, just like I've forgotten podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that might have forgotten podcasts at some point. If you haven't forgotten podcasts,
I forgot this one last night. Yeah. No, but the only reason why I remembered I was saying this because I was just like, well, let me check what the week's looking like, because we've got a whole week schedule, and then I was like, oh, tomorrow. Podcast. Oh yeah, that was last night at about 12:30 at night. Yeah,
right.
And then Joe messaged me this morning. And
if either of us had forgotten the podcast, it would be a pain at the time. But then we would have taken that piece of information and that fact, and we would have made it so much worse because we would have had all of these people that we disappointed. We would have wasted your time. We would have wasted, and we would take that bit of information. We did something wrong.
Yeah.
And then it would have carried over to the rest of the day.
We really beat ourselves up about that,
every
don't we?
time we see these people again, we bump into you somewhere. First thing we're like, oh, I'm going to avoid Zach. I've got a podcast.
Yeah.
So
catastrophize.
From the and you know that would be a relatively big one, but my brain does it for small things as well. It's absolutely a thing, which is such a shame because so much energy goes into worrying and ripping yourself apart over things that literally aren't ever going to happen.
No, correct. And we have to learn to realise that you're not in control of anything in the world, right? But you can manage.
Yeah.
Now, when I talk about manage, I don't know about you, gentlemen, the morning is the worst time for me. Nighttime, okay, I overthink. It takes me ages to get to sleep, but once I'm asleep, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But the mornings, I want to ask you how you deal with your mornings. For me, when I wake up, as soon as I open my eyes, if I'm not on my medication, the world is loud as soon as I open my eyes. Every thought is coming into my head. I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And then I can't place which one I want to do first. How do you go about your day-to-day routine living with mental health and a mental health illness? How do you get yourselves ready for the morning? How do you prepare for the day so that other people maybe can go, you know what, that's really good, I'm going to try that?
Yeah. I think that it's changed more recently because I found a medication that helps.
Okay.
But because I've got a history of self-harm, me taking that medication can take ages sometimes because my brain will forget every day, intentionally, that they help. And because it helps, my brain will never actively want to do things that help me. Yeah. So I wake up and I treat it like news that I feel awful again. All I've got to do is take the tablets, and it doesn't help the sort of the personality disorder that I've got. No. But what it does do is it does regulate all of the thoughts that I'm having and it gets rid of them. Yeah. So since I've been having the medication, I think that that's helped me. All I've got to do is actually get to the packet. Mm-hmm. Before that, I just was taking days, minutes and hours at a time, to be honest. Yeah. Because when it was so bad, it was, unhappiness was blended into every day. Mm-hmm. I was just hoping that it was going to go. So I was constantly waiting for it to shift. Yeah. And also just trying to do something. And whatever that thing was, whether it's getting out of bed or just staying awake for another hour, whatever it is that I needed to do, eating, that's something that I like to forget to do. Yeah, I think, I'm using the term forget pretty loosely. I know about it, but I just don't get up and go to the fridge. Right. Just doing something within the means. Can I quickly
ask about that, Joe? Do you find that doing something like that is an effort? Yeah. It's a chore. Yeah. It's hard. You have to eat. Yes. But to walk 20 steps from your couch to the fridge to open that door, that feels like a marathon.
Oh, yeah. I won't go for a wee if I need it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I live in a studio apartment. I can see the toilet anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll sit there for 9 hours. And, and you, like that, again,
I play stupid games with myself. Yeah. Stupid games. Like what was I doing yesterday? I was reading my book and I was busting to go to the toilet. And I was just like, well, let me just get to the end of this chapter. But it was such a good ending. Right. I was like, let me just quickly read the next chapter. Yeah. And by the end of it, I was uncomfortable. Just like, the toilet's there. I don't know why it's such an effort.
But you were reading. You weren't even in front of the telly. You could have taken that book and just read it.
Well, yeah. But obviously,
you don't think of that
I wasn't thinking that. No, exactly. I know. Joe with all the answers. I wish I thought of that at the time. But no, it was. I think it was because I found myself in a comfortable place, right, mentally, and I feel like I don't know. I don't want to speak for all three of us, but maybe you'll agree somewhat. Is that if I find myself in a mental comfortable place, I want to sit in it. Yes. Regardless of how physically uncomfortable I am, because they're kind of sort of detached in a way. Yeah. So if I feel physically uncomfortable but mentally comfortable, I will trade that off quite easily because. It just because normally it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, great. Please don't take books to the toilet. I've thought about it. Oh, right. And I don't think it will end well for either of us if we ever do that.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's just there's a lot of things in hand.
There is a lot of things in hand.
Right. Correct.
When you get the task involved.
Yeah.
Get messy.
Okay.
I want to quickly pick up about medication. Yeah. All right. There's a lot of stigma around taking medication, especially for a man. There's that sense of pride. There's that sense of ego. We're now in 2025. How important is it for someone to go to a doctor, maybe get the diagnosis, to take the medication? You've spoken about how it really helps you once you take it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm medicated for a couple of things. It really helps. Yeah. How important is that to get the message out to men that may watch this, to go and seek the help they need and take medication if needed?
It can change your life. Certainly changed mine. Over the past couple of years, but I just have been in an awful place, and it really has given me. Medication doesn't fix me, but what it does is it gives me an opportunity every day to do something else that isn't just sit there feeling like that again. Mm-hmm. There is stigma. I've talked about everything awful I've ever done, in the past 10 years publicly. Yeah. And I still had to push myself to say it to you. Which is weird, because I am aware that there is no reason to be ashamed of it. So I don't even understand, and I've tried, I don't understand the stigma around the medication that I feel. I've got loads of stuff that I should be ashamed of more than that, and I'm not ashamed of taking the medication, but there is just this invisible thing in the world.
It's in the back of your mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let me ask you, if you've got a headache, will you take a paracetamol?
Yeah.
No.
You won't?
No.
Okay, this is...
Yeah.
Go on.
No, because just for the sake of being honest.
No,
you know what I mean?
Please,
and I haven't really got my head around it, and I don't really know the answer. This is the honest answer to that question. I think it's... I don't know. Maybe I need to dig into that deeper. I think for me, I always try to avoid anything like that whenever I can. Yeah. And also, I did experience a little bit of trauma around medication. I was on citalopram about 10 years ago, and it didn't really do much for me. I've got to be honest. Like I felt a bit like a robot. I felt like a bit like I was looking on the outside, looking in. I felt very, and I, don't get me wrong, I was willing to come off of it and then try something else. But this was probably my fault. I came off it cold turkey. I didn't take, and I developed tinnitus in both ears, and then that became the new thing that kind of meant that I just spiraled. So that's I think that is one of the main reasons now I'm like very funny about kind of taking anything, because I'm petrified of like that getting worse, because it took me 10 years to kind of get hold of it now. You know what I mean? Where I'm kind of like, if I do take stuff, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's only when I'm like absolutely like in dire
That's
need
real honesty though, and it just shows the strength that you have daily to overcome you know, these obstacles, these thoughts without medication. You know, so it gives people hope that medication ain't necessarily the route. But we also need to make sure that people understand that medication also is not frowned upon.
God, but there's certainly a trade-off with that though, mate, because like I do feel like I am biting my nose off to spite my face by not, at least giving it another try. I think to my nearest and dearest is detriment, because I lean on them, and they're very much there, and if I didn't have that support network, and then I would absolutely have to, you know what I mean, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm very lucky to have that, but if I absolutely thought that I needed to, and then again, that I have absolutely no stigma around it, I think it's more fear than anything. I would go ahead and give it a try.
I don't think you're on your own in that, having a bad experience, particularly with medication as well. If you have a bad experience with it,
it's finding the right one, isn't it?
On your first experience as well, you do want to go, what? I'm not touching them. It's taken me 15 years to find a medication that does something that has changed me beyond recognition to the point where I don't want to, I don't like me in the first place, but it's helped me a bit. But I definitely don't want to take something that's going to make me worse. But that, you're definitely not on your own, I don't think, with that, Danny boy. Not at all.
Guys, what made you decide to step forward and talk about your journey, your mental health? What is it that you wanted to do by talking about it? And have you had other people come to you and say that it's helped them by talking about your mental health and your experiences?
I did it first because I tried everything else. I'd literally done everything I'd ever been told would help. And pretty much all of it didn't. I'd just been getting worse. And I got to a point where I was clean and sober. And I was like, the only thing I've not done is told people what's going on and been honest. So that's why I started. And I just kept going. Yes, people do tell me a lot, which is nice, that stuff that I do has helped. Which is a lovely byproduct of the point, because the point has always been to help me. That's why I started doing it, and I've always actively tried to stay away from being the guy that says positive quotes and is solely doing it for other people. I'm getting better at understanding the worth that what I say has to other people, and sort of factoring that in. But I always do it for me. But people do tell me that them watching me do it for me has helped them, which is lovely.
Yeah, that is lovely.
I think my first experience with kind of decline in mental health was when I was 19. And it was when I went to drama school, and I experienced a whole new environment, a whole new set of people, and I was completely out of my comfort zone, and I just didn't fit, and I felt massively ostracized and misunderstood. And that was kind of my first experience with it. And then I kind of somehow managed to get out of that. I focused on my work, and that kind of, was fortunately so intense that I had no other choice but to. And then my second experience of it was when I was at EastEnders, ironically playing a character who, had serious mental health problems. And I would often have people interview me, or just people out on the street, asking me what it's like to play a character like that. And how it makes me feel kind of going home, and I'd always lie, and I'd always say, oh no, I'm fine, I'd go home, I've got a routine that I stick to, and I'm sweet as, I'm just playing a character, but I was basically playing, a version of myself, and but I didn't want to expose that at the time, because I didn't want the BBC to safeguard me and be like, well, we need to change the storyline because we need to protect Danny, because I felt like I had a wider responsibility, because people were messaging me every day saying how much of a massive positive impact that my character had had. So I just rolled with it, because I felt like there was a responsibility for others that kind of that in a way made me feel, you know, just driven, and it made me feel, you know, sort of like I could handle it, you know. And it wasn't until I left that I realised, I might have overdid it a little bit. You know? So that was kind of my first experience with it. But I feel like the people that have reached out and have been really honest with me about how kind of me talking about it has helped them, has helped me and helped them, and it's kind of such a wonderful knock-on effect, you know. Because
that's perfect, because I wanted to ask this next. I've only got 2 questions left, right? But this next one, do you feel that we overcompensate for people? Yeah, so we'll do more for someone else, or we love deep, we love hard, we give everything. Hang on, I will get there. I've just gone there.
No, that's all right.
No, keep going, mate.
Yeah.
Don't rush.
Do you feel that we do this because in return it does make us feel better? You know, so we overcompensate for people's needs, loved ones, you know, strangers. We will do more because in return it makes us feel better. Do you believe that any of you two are like that?
Yeah, I think certainly you want it to make you feel better.
Yeah.
I think I've experienced that in a lot of my life, and I've put a lot of time into trying to rein that in a little bit, because I think that I inherently want to do nice things and be nice and be liked by everybody at all times.
Yeah.
Because that will then fill the thing in me that is empty.
Yes.
And which is not to say that it doesn't make me feel good to do nice things for other people, but that can't be the only thing that I'm trying to do to help myself.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you're still just helping other people, hoping that the reflection of it comes back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely have done, still do those things.
Yes.
But I think the older that I get, the more I understand that I have to factor in doing things for me, because also I will say yes to everything immediately without checking.
So are you one of those that will be like, oh yeah, I'll see you down the pub or the club at this time, and then you come to it and you're like, I'm not going.
Well, I can't do that because I've got things on.
Yeah, I've got things.
And then now I've got 2 problems. I've got the thing and then the other thing, and then I don't contact either of them.
No.
And then that will so I try to say no to things as much as I can.
Right.
In the moment, or at least let me get back to you in the next hour, just to give myself a bit of time to not do that nice thing for somebody else. Because if you're in front of me, for so many reasons, I want to make your day better. That's inherently my thing.
Yeah.
So I have to try to stop doing that, because sometimes it makes you feel better, but it can long term make my life worse.
Yes.
So that was a long answer to your question.
No, that was a good answer.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know
Yeah, I mean, I'm a serial double booker. I really, you know, like, and to my girlfriend's detriment. Thankfully, my girlfriend's the organised one out of the 2, and she will absolutely, you know, slap me on the wrist and tell me, right, that's the full thing that you've organised for the 18th of January.
Is she your calendar and everything?
But yeah, she's took on that responsibility, thankfully, willingly, and with love, and without, I'm not sure what I do, to be honest, because I can't really stretch myself to 4 different things.
No, right.
So she goes, right, pick one of the 4, and you're going to have to, you know, send a polite message and be honest and let them know that you double books, because you have absolutely no idea what day of the week it is most of the time. But yeah, and to answer your question about, you know, wanting to help people with it, and does it make you feel better? I think yeah, I feel like there's kind of like a real deep kind of divine responsibility, you know what I mean, because sometimes I feel like others don't notice, so I feel like I have to, right? And sometimes not necessarily because I want to. I think it's just more because I feel like I know what it's like, so I really don't want that person to feel like that. Right. So, you know, but it does make me feel good helping, right? But only when I feel like it's wanted. Yes. Sometimes I might, you know, put my nose in where it's not wanted, and
we've all got a terrible habit for that, haven't we?
So therefore, you know, so I try to be, you know, as gentle and as delicate about it as I can, but I just think for me, it's just like, I just want you to know that I'm here, you know. Yeah. Just a quick anecdote, like, you know, a really, really close relative of mine, very close relative, was going through a lot, and I made you know, I made an extra special effort, because I know what it's like to be in that situation, to be a pest. And I was an absolute pest, but just because, like, even even thinking about it, like when I was going through it, you know, even though even though I would welcome, you know, a pest, as someone, you know, constantly on at me going, got you, don't worry, you're there, you've got this through. I also don't want to be a pest to them for taking up too much of their time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, because I obviously felt comfortable with this person because, you know, because of, you know, how close we are, I wanted to make sure that I was that person that I felt like I needed at the time. And I recognised traits that I had as well when they were going through it. You know, don't feel like you need to call me. No, I will. It's not because I feel like I need to. It's just I'm going to, whether you like it or not. And you know, and I'm gonna text you, and you don't always feel like you need to reply. It's totally fine if you don't do that. That's all right. But I'm just so you know I'm here, because that's the wonderful thing about, you know, the digital world that we live in. There's pros and cons to that, obviously, massively. But I just wanted to let that person know that I was there at any point, and because that's the thing, isn't it? It's so lonely, isn't it, when you're going through it?
It is.
And sometimes you need something or someone to jolt you out of it. So therefore, for me, you know, every hour on the hour, I was like, "Boom, just letting you know." But it was my way of jolting them out of their, you know, their obsession with what they were going through.
Because you understand, you've been there.
Exactly, yeah. So for me, that was not just a responsibility as a loved one, but I just felt responsibility of someone who just understood. Do you know what I mean? So,
no, I love that, mate. I love that. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up with one question.
Yeah.
With age come wisdom, you know. On your journey, obviously, you've gone through this. There's a lot that you've learned. You've got a lot of wisdom. If you could go back to one of your worst times as the man you are now, what is the message you would give to yourself?
You go first. I hate this question.
I'm really sorry.
Not against you. No, I don't mean I hate you having the question.
No.
I mean, you are not the first person to ask it.
The reason I say that, okay, so I'm actually going to open this up.
Yeah.
I would say to myself that I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because at my worst time, when you feel like nothing else matters, you're thinking the absolute worst. You're not thinking about your loved ones. You're not thinking about anything else apart from this is it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would love to stand there as a man I am now, having overcome this, got some medication. Not every day's rosy, not every day's perfect. And I still have my bad days. But I'd love to just hold the hand of myself in my worst moment and say, hey, Zach, you're going to be okay. Because I feel like that would be really important to me. So that's how I would answer my question.
I've got, you answer, I've got nothing to add.
Okay, mate.
Beautiful, Zach. And everything that I hate about the question, you just made me understand. So, I can't answer anymore because I would just say that. That was beautiful. Thank you for
Bless you, mate.
That was beautiful. I am going to just add something to that because it did change my life.
Yeah.
If someone isn't listening, stop talking to them.
Strong.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, I would try to, too hard to be liked, too hard to engage with people that just didn't want to be in my circle, and I didn't like being not liked, and I didn't like that people didn't care, and as soon as I stopped giving too much energy towards people that just weren't giving anything back, I immediately just gave my energy more towards the people that have always been there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's important, because if not, that develops burnout. You know, you then start putting that weight on your own shoulders. So that's a really important message as well, is give love to who wants to receive it, right?
Absolutely,
Don't waste energy.
You've rounded that up perfectly, exactly that. And there's just so many people out there that do, you know, and it's one of the hardest things to accept, isn't it? Love from other people. You know, so, you know, the people I have around me are enough, and it's hard to get into my inner circle now because I've worked hard at it, you know.
That's brilliant. Actually, that's really good. That's not even something I've thought about, but once you start that healing journey, you start understanding a little bit. You find that the circle go from this to this. Massively, and it's very difficult to break down that concrete wall that we build around, and we're like, hey, this is our happy bubble. The people that's in it understand, they care, they love me, they give me the space when I need it. You know, they're an ear, or they're the voice of reason. And that's really important as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, it really, really is. Yeah, you put that such a nice way, both of you.
Yeah.
I've loved this.
Yeah,
me too.
Mate. Same.
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Such a discussion about something so unhappy, so happy. Thank you for that, Zach.
Oh, mate, honestly, thank you. It's a real pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.